Hello, everyone. This is Becky here at Beck's Creations, and we are going to finish up our little journals today. And we may do bonus project, depends on how long this takes to finish up. I came on about 5 minutes early to welcome everybody in. I hope everybody's okay with that. You'll need your journals. You'll need leftover paper that you've already cut, or you can pull out some fresh paper from your paper pad. Again, the paper pad I am using is called Awesome Boy because I just randomly picked one of the paper pads I've had for ages. And we're going to use some more of this today. And see, I still have enough here to probably make, I don't know how many more journals. That's the thing about these paper pads. It's so hard to use them up. But let's try. You're going to need some cardstock that you can turn into journaling. I'm using a kind of cream colored. I've already cut my mats and I've pre-cut everything. So as we go along, hi Vanessa. As I go along, I'll tell you the size of the mats that I've cut, but I've already put the mats measurements in the description box below for anybody that's using the same card set as I am. If you're not, and you're using maybe letter size envelopes, you'll have to measure your envelopes to figure your mats and all. Okay. Hi, Nashwa. And so I've cut mats. These are the mats. You'll need 1, 2, 3, 4 to go on the extra cards we had. And those mats are 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 to fit a card that's 4 by 5 1/2. And then we have our tags, which I've already done some of the tags. I just have one left to make. The tags measure 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. And the two mats measure 3 by 5 1/4. Now to make my tag, instead of cutting the corners, I'm going to use a punch to punch my corners, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get to it. You're going to need 2 pieces of your recycled box. Hi, Marty. The covers, if you're using the same size cards as I am, are 4.5 by 6. And if you're using a recycled box that's got some corrugation, I don't know if you can see the little lines that go across. You want those lines to go in the direction that gives you the most strength. Hi, Gail. Hi, Joyce. So you wouldn't want them up and down because as you open the book, you're moving in this motion, right? So if you keep doing that over time, if the ribs were going this way, they'll start bending. So you'll get like a cupped cover over time. I've got mine running this way, so it'll remain strong. All right. I've punched out some circles just to, have for maybe some decorations here and there, or if you wanted to make a paper clip, and I just use scraps. We're going to start with the cover piece. That's 4.5 by 6. And we want to cover this, but we don't have to worry about covering the back side of it because we are going to glue it to our cover. And you can see I've already put the cover on, and then I glued the envelope to it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the front for this. And so we can put it under, you're going to need to put it under like a book, or I've got my piece of cutting board that Scott gave me that's like solid oak and it's real heavy. I want to get that all put together so it can be sitting here drying while we work. Hi, Teresa and Gail. I think I said hello, and Joyce. All right. So to cover this, you're going to need a piece. Again, I cut this cover at 4.5 by 6. And what you want to do is if you measure your cover, you want to add a 1/2 inch to the height of whatever your envelope is. but then you only want to add a 1/4 inch because the back of the cover is going to come right where the envelopes are folded. Okay, so you only want a 1/4 inch past your envelopes on the front side of it. So you only have to add a 1/4 inch to the width. So I added 4.5. And so when I put this on here, those will be flat at the back. And then these will be a 1/4 inch exposed all the way around. So the pages are inside by a 1/4 of an inch. I hope that made sense. Hi, Janet. All right, so that covers 4.5 by 6. So I've cut a piece of cardstock here, and these are for the covers. We'll talk about those later. I'm going to shove those aside. I've cut this at 6.5 by 8 inches, and then I scored 1 inch from each side, and we can go ahead and fold that. You don't necessarily have to burnish it real hard. I just want to fold it so you can see where the corners are a little bit. All right, so you can see, and I've wrote cut. So you're going to cut the little squares out on each side. So I'm going to do that and see what you guys are talking about. Hi, Marty. And I'm going to cut at an angle on each side to the corner. And you really want to leave a little bit of paper beyond the actual corner. I didn't quite manage that on all of my corners before, and so I've got a little bit of the cardboard is peeking out. But if you come up short from that just a little bit, then when you fold these in around your cardboard, that corner will get covered with the paper. It's not a big deal if you don't get it. It's just, you know, if you want it to be really pro looking. All right. And these I'm going to throw in the trash. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put the part with the cookie picture on the inside. It doesn't really matter, or toward the front. And you're going to fold your sides up and over. And this up and over on the ends, like so. Okay. So I'm going to do the two sides first, and I use the glue wall. Oh, you silly Marty. Trying to get the glue that's dried off the end of my glue bottle. And I do try to get some right in the fold. Scott had to take a detour last night because there was a real bad wreck on the back road he takes to work. So I've been a little nervous today. That, you know, people get used to the area they live in, and then they drive faster than, you know, roads are really made for, because they know where they're going. And then they run into somebody that's, you know, just trying to go to work. But he said it must have been really bad because they had the road blocked off by the ambulance and the fire truck. So I've been a little on the nerve side about his trip to work today. All right, so we got the two sides glued up, and I'm going to do the same on this. And then I'm going to set this aside with the piece of wood on it. If you don't have a handy dandy thing. Hi, MK's Artful Journey. Welcome. So we will set that aside with the weight on top of it. I might even set my gnome I've got here on my table on top of the piece of wood. You can see I didn't quite get that covered with the paper, but it doesn't matter. It'll be okay. All right, I'll glue that up. And remember, all of this is going to get covered with the first envelope here. We could probably go ahead and put this on and just put the whole weight on the whole book, and it can be drying. I might just do this in steps. Let's set this aside to dry like this real quick. And because I want access to the inside of the book. All right, now I'm going to show you the components we're going to make to go inside. All right, so we got 2 of these tags. I put one in here and one in the back. So I need to make 1 more of these because this is the offcut of the cards that we did in part 1. We put part of a card here and then we cut off the other half of it to make these tags. So we're going to make one of these tags. And we're also going to complete our other card, which opens up, and we're going to create this journal spot. This was just created with regular cardstock, and I have these journal genies. I think I picked these up thrifting somewhere at a thrift store, and you line these up on your paper. Well, that's not the one I used for that. This one is. And you have to tape your paper down with a little bit of masking tape and then tape this in place so it doesn't move on you. And then you just take a pen and do it in there. And that's how you end up with a journal spot. And then I put mats on the front, excuse me, and on this and on the back. And you could put photos on those. The pocket here we made last week, I think, in part 2. So I'm going to put these in here. We're also going to do, this goes in the front, and the other card will go in behind that. I cut some of the, if your paper pad has things like this, you can utilize them for more journaling spots. And that's what I've done here. So if you were doing this for a little boy, you could ask him, you could put his name and his birthday and then ask him what his favorite color is, his favorite food, his favorite show, his best buddy, his pet peeve, and hobbies. And I could just see asking a little boy, what is your pet peeve? I'm sure you would have to describe what a pet peeve is to a child. But I thought that could be a fun way to keep track of a little guy, from when they're little. And then you could put a photo here in relation to some of this stuff if you wanted. So you could put like a picture of him at his last birthday party, maybe here of him wearing his favorite color, and maybe him and his best friend. So you could do that on that kind of thing. So I did the All About Me tag, which was from the paper pack. And then here I put his top faves of the little boy that you're doing the book for. And then we've got one more that's this one. And I cut it out to fit in the center of this. I'll go ahead and put this down. There's no reason to wait. And I inked the edges. And I'm going to put it in here. And I ran out of tape. So I got 2 different size tapes. But you know what? It doesn't matter when it's inside a book. But you could put, if you didn't want to put this on the inside, this measurement's slightly different if you put it on the flap. So I wanted the most space to write. That's why I put it in here. All right. So that takes care of all the internal journal spots there. So we need to make our tags and our card. And I don't know what I'll do with the extra tag. We might just put both tags in there, or we could, you could just paper clip it in somewhere, but I'll probably just stick it in the front cover. And I did put a journaling spot on the back of the tag as well. And here you can see what my stamp, not my stamp, my punch does. And when I cut these, like I cut the tag and then I did this, and then of course the mat is smaller than the tag. So when you punch it, you end up with relief on the edges there. If you want to, you can punch a hole in your tags and add little things that would stick out above the journal. But I didn't do that, at least not yet. Or you could take some of your circles that we punched out and you could put 2 of these back to back, like one here and then maybe a solid reading one on the back. So they act like little tabs that stick up above the journal. I would ink the edges on those. So those are just a couple ideas. So, well, when things start going wrong, Angie, it's always a good time to stop and take a moment. I have to do that when I'm sewing. If I start getting frustrated, things will go wrong one after another. Hi, Dawn. All right, so I've went through this. I showed you the stuff. Let's go ahead and adhere the cover here. I did ink my cover. I know I didn't ink the envelopes, but I like how it looks on the outside. Kind of looks like a little boy has dragged it through some dirt and stuff if you age it a little bit. And this will give this time to set up and dry, and then we'll decorate the cover. Very last thing. If you think about your process and you know there's going to be time for it that you need to like set it aside and let the glue set up, think about the steps in the way that you would like it to be, finished and glued, so you don't have to, set it on a shelf and wait and come back later. If you do a step like this now, then by the time you're done with some of the other stuff, this stuff will be dry enough that you can continue. If your corners don't come out totally perfect too, you could also add metal corners if you have them. I don't have things like that, but you could do that as well. All right, all inked up, pretty good. All right, so this is what I did. I'm going to put some tape on the middle part here, just to give it some way to hold it. Getting these started sometimes is half the battle, just finding the end. And I'm only putting on the tape toward the middle because I'm going to put glue, except I don't want any glue in that 1/4 of an inch on the outer edges. Of course, it doesn't matter on the back side where it meets the edges of the envelope, but you just don't want glue along the top and the outer edge. But if you put this tape on, it helps hold it while your glue sets up. I'll show you what I mean. So here's the tape. I hope you've got some ribbon with you as well for our tie closure. If you don't want to use a tie closure, you could use whatever other closure you want to. All right, so this is the back. We want the front and the back to line up. So if I put this over here, you can see better. This will be the front, and it's going to go on top here, but I want the edges to meet. So if I'm looking at this, when this comes over, this is going to be the edge that's to the outside. I don't want any glue in the 1/4 inch along this edge or 1/4 inch in up here or down here. Back here, we can come all the way back to this edge. I hope that made sense. Oh, hubby's got a vampire appointment. Okay. Well, there's always the replay, Kathy. So I'm going to put some glue here. Remember to stay away from a 1/4 inch from the edge, up at the top and the bottom. If you want to spread this out with a silicone thingamajig, if you've got one, you can do that. And if you get it on there and something starts coming loose later, you can just add some more glue. But it should hold. All right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to stand my book up like this. And I'm going to stand this up like this. And slowly bring them together so that when I put my fingers together, the two edges meet. This is toward the back. Then you can do like this. And that way they're even. And now I'm going to take this. I'm going to put my weight on it. I'll move it over out the way. I just want to show you what I'm going to do. And then I've got my gnome. And the gnome's going to sit on him over here. All right, so I'm going to move the whole thing over out of the way so we can work on the card and the tag. These are the pieces I've cut for my front and back cover. To get my front cover to be the same size, Matt, because of the shape of these pre-made things that came in the paper pad, it was a little too narrow. So I just took a strip from the leftover of this to make these the same width. So that'll go on the front and that'll go on the back. So we'll do that last. And so let's make our tag. So we've got our tag here. I'm going to go ahead and do my punching. We'll punch it. And I just do the top two corners. With this punch, I just have to get this point in that point. And then squeeze. I've used this so much, I've wore the little picture off the top of the stamp. But back here, there's used to be a shape that showed you what you punched off. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on the piece I'm going to turn into the journaling. Like that. So that'll go on one side of the tag. And you can see it gives a relief. And then we'll do this on two sides here. And just like the pages with the tag and the card, I did not ink the actual tag or the card. I inked the mats. So all these mats need to be inked. So we'll do the inking next. It's a little tricky to ink where that punched off, but I get it done. I just like how that looks as a tag, and then I don't mess it up trying to do the angle. One day, maybe I'll get one of those punches that does a tag corner, does that angle cut for a tag. That would be nice to have. I'm rubbish at trying to cut it and do the trick where you take the part you cut off the first side and flip it over. They never come out nice and even. And then we're going to do this one. And I'm just inking the front side of it. I need to look through my stamps and see if I have anything that says date on it, because I got to thinking how nice it would be to add a little like card that said date and then had a blank on it that you could use to put the dates on it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card. This will go on one side of the card, and then I'm going to show you how I did the the lines. Now, if you don't have one of these, what do they call them? A Journaling Genie. I don't even know if it's something that's still available. Let me see. It's from Chatterbox, www.chatterboxinc.com. I don't know if they're still a going concern. If I can find it, I'll put a link to these. Like I said, I think I got these at the Goodwill, these Journaling Genies. And I don't know about chatterbox.com or chatterboxinc.com. Hi, Sherry Hubbing. There's a lovely cowbird under the feeder out there. Stopped for some scraps from the squirrels and the birds, I think. Smells like Greg heated up his slice of pizza he had left over. All right. So that'll be side one of a tag. And now I'm going to show you the Journaling Genie thing. And what I do is I've got this narrow masking tape. I'm just going to use a little of it to just hold this in place. I put a little up there and a little at the bottom. I don't know if the masking tape I've been using on the Journaling Genie is going to hold, but we'll soon find out. So I use this long section. It's got like 2 paragraphs here. So there's all these different options. I'm just going to kind of line this up and center it like so. And then hopefully this will hold this in place because I'm not steady enough to hold it in place. I was pushing it all over the table earlier. So that's why I've rigged up this whole masking tape situation. And then I'm just using it like a big pen. My lines aren't perfectly straight because I've got this shaking going on. I don't know what that's about, but it makes for some interesting lines. I think one more. I don't want it all the way to the top. All right. Then if I lift this up gently, I can use that masking tape one more time because I want to put a journaling spot in the card as well. And I'll just get some fresh for here because there's all kinds of stuff on this mat that kind of messes up the adhesive. All right, did I put some tape on the back? Not yet. And Dawn says she uses a sticky grid mat at the dollar store. The $1.25 store. I have not seen that, but I am trying so very hard not to spend any money on any supplies from now until July. If I use up something that I'm going to need to do something else with, I'm just going to start making a list, and then come July, I'll go shopping. And that way I can just keep moving from one hobby to the next. I finished the corner to corner Afghan that I bought the blanket yarn. I bought 3 skeins of that blanket yarn that Hobby Lobby had went from to clearance. It was $3.24. Original price was $8.99. And I bought 3 skeins, and it made a crib-sized Afghan. And oh my gosh, it feels so nice. It's so fluffy. I'm like, I wish this was bigger, but I looked on the label because there was a pattern for a blanket on the label, and it said it took 7 skeins. By the time I got to Hobby Lobby clearance, the yarn was all picked over. So, which was probably good because I need to use up what I have, and then I'm being gifted some yarn. So I can start working on hats for the homeless and that kind of thing. All right, so let's put this in the middle. Try to have about the same amount exposed. all the way around. All right, so that's how I made the tags. And remember, we had 3 tags and 2 little books. If you want to add more adornment than I have, feel free. But I'm trying to not go too crazy because I want there to be room for the photographs and that kind of thing to be added to the little pages. All right, so there's that. And again, if we wanted to, we could put a little star at the top, but I would ink the edges. Do we want to do that to our tags? Add a little tab to the top so it sticks up above the book. I don't need to do the back of it. Actually, let's do, because there's striped paper here, we'll do a piece of striped paper on the back side. So if I flip this over and I put this on here, we just need a little glue on the bottom half of it. And we'll get it located on here. Let's see if I can get that about right. Oh, it doesn't matter if it matches the same, does it? All right, so that's there. And then we can flip it over and then we'll just put glue on the entire star and then just kind of match them up. My tummy's growling. I think I'll add some more of these circles to those other 2 tags like this so they all match. And that gives us a little added doohickey there. Let's see. I'm going to set this part under this the punch I use because it's nice and heavy and it'll kind of hold those together while they set up. All right, so now we need to do our card. I did not punch any edges or anything on those. I did make a journaling spot. I'm going to do this backwards than what I did before, but you can do them in any order you want. Angie's going back to work or taking a nap. I missed it. Kathy's on her way out, so see you later. All right. And on this one, because it's wider, I used this here. And I just followed it all the way up. And then I put a couple of the little circles up here for decoration. Let's see if I can do better this time with this. But if you had rubber stamps that was kind of boy themed, you could stamp something there if you didn't want to add a paper embellishment to it. These not Genie Majigs, the Journaling Genie has all different shapes. There's even, I'll show you my other one I have over there on the floor. Let me go get that for you. If you don't want straight lines, if you want to add some bits to it. Journaling Genie. This one's called Funky. I don't know the name of this one. Fancy first letter could go here, it says. It doesn't say what that one's called, but this one's called number 3, Funky. But you can see there's like a rainbow, zigzag chevrons, wavy lines, and then a spiral. And if you did it in pencil, then they could write around it and erase your pencil marks. So these are fun if you can find them. Like I said, if I look them up, I'll try to put a link to them in the description box after I sign off. All right, and I'm done with this here. I can put this back over here. Just got to remind myself to add a link to those. I'm sure there's other journaling line options out there. Today is the 22nd. My grandmother would say, all day. I could have added one more line just by moving it up, but I didn't. It's all good. And these are the other mats for the card. I'm just going to ink them up. I'm glad I did some of the pre-work so that you're not here all day with me learning how to do this. Trying to think of our next project. I don't just do paper crafts. I do mixed media, artsy stuff. I sew, I embroider, slow stitch, whatever you want to call it. If you're new here and you've not watched any of my videos, I kind of jump all over the place. So you guys just have to hold on tight and, you know, do the projects you want to do. Ignore the ones you don't want to do. I sew clothes. I do quilts. There's not a project I don't like. That's the problem. I want to do it all of it. I need to get out in the yard and do some yard work over the weekend. I think it's going to be. It's just been so chilly. I haven't felt much like getting out there, but chilly is when you really should do it, because when it gets hot here, it gets hot. Hot and humid and sticky and awful. All right, so you can put your card together, you know, if you wanted to, instead of putting one of these on the front of this like this, you could go ahead and put your journaling spot. That's a personal preference. I just like to, bam, put a photo mat here, and then they can put a little photo or two on here, and then open, and then tell about the day or the event or whatever. So again, I'm going to go ahead and put tape on all of these instead of put tape on, stick it down. I'm going to get them all taped up at once. So I'm doing the same motion over and over. There's one. Two. And I did put measurements down for the tags, the card, and the covers. I think I put the covers on. Yeah, I did. Oh, I don't know if I did. I'm going to have to look back and see now when I get off from here. And again, it really only matters if you're using the same size cards and envelopes that I am. If you're using a different size, you're going to have to measure, you know, your own cards and envelopes. If you use just a US letter sized envelope, you know, the small narrow ones, you'll have to make your own cards as well to fit inside. And the cards generally are about a 1/4 inch smaller than the envelopes that you're using. Just an FYI, if you want a little help with the math. That way it'll fit inside it. Gives you an 1/8 of an inch room all the way around. Genie magic. All right, almost done here. Little heaters popped back on. I snitched Scott's heater. He's not here today. So I said, you know what? I'm tired of being chilly in the front room. This room has 1, 2, 3, and then this huge window here, and it's on the north side of the house. So when it's cold outside or there's a breeze or anything, I feel it. Now, we have bought 5 windows to replace the 5 narrower windows. We do not have a replacement for the large center window in this large window. It's like 3 windows together. All right, let's see. I kind of like this on the front of my card, but we hadn't gotten around to putting them in. Scott doesn't have the energy he used to have, where he would do a whole bunch of stuff after working. Working is enough to wear him out these days. And I can understand. It's one reason I would like to remain at home doing the housework, because doing the housework exhausts me anymore. All right. And I can't remember how I did the other one, but we're just going to put this mat in here. I'll put this one here. And put this journal spot here. I think I put it in a different space on the other one. You guys still there? Because my chat's not moving. I hope you're still there. And I think I'll save my bonus project for another video, just so we can finish this up and have it under an hour or right at an hour. I just figure there's so many people that do lives, especially on Wednesday. It seems to have filled up over time. And I'll add in extra videos on early mornings when I can, and standalone videos the other times. Okay, I need 2 more stars, so I'll use those 2 stars there, that, and that on those other 2 tags. And then I got these stars. And I'll stick that down there. And I guess use one of these striped circles. Okay. Marty says she's here. Okay. I'm going to put this down first. Just put a little glue and spread it around. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think these just look like little play balls. You know, the ones you get that are rubber and they bounce all over the place. Hopefully the glue won't sneak out behind it and then glue my book shut. That would not be good. We'll get this open. All right. Good. Good. So the only thing left to do is add some more circles to those other 2 tags and put our cover on. Oh, we got to close it now and hope that doesn't glue together. All right. This one's got kind of a glossy texture to it, so I don't know. That's why I put it on the back of this. So there we go. There's another little card. All right, Mr. Gnome, I hope you've done your job. We're going to move you back over here. And I'll get the book out. All right, let me grab this tag and this tag. I'll just set the block back on it. I'm going to open this because I'm afraid of those two. And we'll put some stars on here. I need to ink the edges. Brenda says, oh, you're driving. Don't be chatting with me while you're driving. Goodness, woman, you crazy? Love to have you here, but don't want you to get in a wreck. All right, that's close enough. These are probably not going to be exactly even, but they'll be close enough. Oh, got a little bit of glue squeezed out. It'll be all right. And then we got to ink 2 other circles on the back side. I'll put this one on here. And then this one will go on the other one. I just like to cover the little white core there is in the middle of the paper. There's a red-winged blackbird out there. I can hear it. Red-winged blackbirds make me think of the farm in New York. I miss living on a farm, but I don't miss cleaning up poo. Cleaning up after the cats and the dog are enough. I've lost that part of farm life, wanting to clean up poo. Not into mucking stalls and flicking hay or fluffing the hay in where the cows lay down. All right, let's see. I'll set that on top of that one, and we'll move this over here. Just putting a little weight on them. All right. I'm going to go ahead and put this inside the front pocket, like so. Hopefully those are glued down enough. All right, now, for the reason for the ribbon, I want to put a tie closure because you can see as we add stuff, this is going to alligator. And it's still going to alligator, but I've cut a piece of ribbon that is about, let me tell you how long. I've cut a piece that's about 26 inches. That's probably way too long, but it's okay. You can trim it shorter, but you can never go longer, right? I'm going to put a piece of tape in the center, just a short little piece of tape right in the center of the book. You can measure it if you want. I'm just going to eyeball. And I mean, just a tiny little piece. Like so. All right. And I'm going to kind of fold this in sort of half. And then put this down like so. And then I can bring this around here so I can see that they match up. And I want to leave it slightly loose, so don't pull it tight like that. You want to leave a little bit of space at the back of the book. This is the front of the book now. And again, I'm going to put just a little piece of tape there to hold the ribbon in place. And I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the back. All right. So I've got my ties on there. And then make sure I'm right side up now. Okay. I want to put the front cover on here. I've already inked all of these and everything. I got tape on them and everything. So we'll just go ahead and stick this down. Oh, you're talking, you're not typing. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind to. We're talking about when we do retire, it's going to be to a small town somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. We might end up staying here. Who knows? Scott doesn't want to stay here. And I would like to get out of the city. But again, none of us know what tomorrow will hold. We just have to hold on tight and land on our feet if we can. All right, let's try to get this straight. This says authentic boy, 100% genuine article. All right. If there's something else in your pack that you want to add to your journal, feel free. Uh-oh, you know what? This one's not been taped up. That's all right. Yeah, the only way I'll move is if we hire a moving crew. I am not going to move all this stuff physically anymore. That move back down here from Greenville about did me in. If we can't afford to pay anybody, we're not moving. Hear that, honey? If we could move this house and the garage and everything and just go, okay, I want to live, boom, and then wiggle our nose or whatever, more power to you. I would love to be able to do that because I do love this house. It's perfect. All right. So it's really more house than we need, though, I know. It wasn't even taped and prepared, Marty. Holy smokes. What was I thinking? Or as Janet would say, what do you like? Not having it taped. She said that she left a message on her video because I had left her a message saying, oh, her rhubarb reminded me of my grandma when the rhubarb would come ready on the farm. She would make this rhubarb sauce and you'd put it over vanilla ice cream. Oh my God, it was so good. I haven't had rhubarb since I left New York. And she'd make a strawberry rhubarb pie that was to die for. Oh my God, it was so good. Basically, I miss my grandma. Really bad. Especially lately. I don't know. When they've been gone a long time and you get that feeling like you just like to pick up the phone and call. That's what it's been for me this past month. That's why I've been kind of distracted because, yeah. All right. So, how fun is that? So we can put one tag there. I don't know if these are dry. 2 tags. We might have to rethink having the 2 tags there. And then I could maybe move one of the I want this one in the front because I like that paper. So that gives the tabs stick up a little bit. But that was the idea. And then you can tie it closed. And I think I guessed about right on the length. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project if I can get it to tie. But something like this would be nice for like a bridal shower. Can you imagine? This would be a way to do a bridal shower book where she could write down her gifts and maybe take pictures of the the girls and women that attended her bridal shower. I think this would make a great bridal shower gift if it wasn't for a little boy. I have other paper packs. Hi, Pam. Yeah, that's rough when you have to work off the farm as well as on the farm, because farm work's not easy. I mean, that's a sun up, sun down, unless you've got a crew to help you, which usually the crew involved all the teenagers around, all the cousins and stuff would show up to help with haying and that kind of thing. I do miss that kind of camaraderie of my cousins, but most of them I haven't really spoken to much in years. We're friends on Facebook, and that's about it. All right, guys, I am not going to keep you. I do have some sewing I want to get done this week as well. So I'm going to be working on that tomorrow in Anne's Craft and Chat. And I'm thinking about having a craft and chat on Friday in my small Facebook group. So if you can't make it to Anne's on Thursday, I would welcome you to join my group. If you're not in my group on Facebook, it's a very small group and we don't do a whole lot in there, but I was thinking I would try doing this on Friday for just, I don't know, maybe because Anne's, we stay in there all day. So I'm thinking Friday, it might just be for a couple hours, like 10 to noon or something. All right. Thank you so much for being here. And I would love to, if you make the journal, I would love to see it on Instagram or in anybody's group. Just say Made with Bex Creations and I will see it. Thank you guys. Have a great day.